All right, baby, welcome to the mid-show, post-game show. Bears lose 20-17 after blowing a 10-point lead to the Browns. The mid-show is presented by Miller Lite. Where do you guys want to start? We blew a lead. Everyone was sucked back in. Things were exciting. We kind of all agreed we're just going to go whichever direction this team takes us, and this is where they took us. So here we are.
I'm raising my hand.
Yes.
If you can't see it. Okay. I'm going to start here. I think the defense moving forward can be an actual defense. The last 5 weeks, we've seen how well they played. Now, granted, there's been Josh Dobbs, 80-year-old Joe Flacco, and not a lot of great mixed into there. However, that defense has played fucking fantastic today. Today, they also played well. Awesome. That throw that Flacco had on the deep touchdown with like a few minutes left in the game, I'm not even going to really consider that bad defense. That was an absolute perfect throw that I don't think more than a handful of quarterbacks in the league can make. They lost today. I think it's better that they lost, but the defense moving forward, I think, is an actual something to look forward to in 2024 and onward, especially with like Jackson gone. He got roasted, but like defense on the up and up.
Chief, your hand is raised. You can talk.
It's Joe Flacco, and they were missing 4 starters on the offensive line. And if I
didn't know it was 4 starters.
Yeah. And then on the biggest play of the game, when it's still tied at 17, they have them 3rd and 15 at midfield. And they have some kind of, we're going to outsmart this guy who's 39 years old, zone blitz on, where they drop a defensive tackle into coverage and bring Brisker and basically bring the house. And they set up the little dump pass that goes and puts them in the easy field goal chip shot range. So, yeah, the defense has looked a lot better with Montez Sweat. I think a lot of the names on there look pretty good. You know, you upgrade the safety spot, you get more development from the tackles you drafted, you add another edge guy opposite of Sweat, and you're doing something. But this,
you're cooking.
This is the type of game where it's like, to me, it's the nail in the coffin for Getsy and Eberflus. I thought they lost the game for the players today.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Healthy debate. I mean, yeah, I don't. How much are we getting confused with? And listen, for a large portion of the game, the defense did play well, and obviously, I think we're all in love with Montez Sweat. He has been a difference maker in every sense of the word. But healthy debate. Joe Flacco threw for 374 yards. You know,
and like 50 attempts too, mind you.
For sure, he threw the ball a shit ton. Tyreek Stevenson, he's always at the right place, but he can't seem to make a big play. And that
you had stepped out and you missed his big play.
Okay, all right.
He had an interception. Bears muffed a punt. They were going in for a score. He baited Flacco and had a great interception. Returned it probably 30 yards on that play too.
Yeah, but even at the end, though, he got, once again, just all over in someone's face. He's like, it's one of those things where I think, and he did make that, like you said, I had to step out for a second and help Spider with something, but it is a thing where I think it eventually will come. He's just always like so close, and that did hook him in some ways, but like he's very close to making like many plays, Yeah. So
he is still a rookie. I know he started 15 games or whatever. But I'd say, I mean, he leaves something to be desired, but I agree that he can get there. He has moments. They have a lot of guys that have moments, but then it's just like they invent new ways to lose. And saw that again today. And like that 3rd and 15, like, even if you play, kind of a shell where you're at the sticks and just like don't give up a first down, if you stop them, that's still, let's say you stop them after a 12-yard gain, it's still a 50-something yard field goal. Like, What are you gain? Unless you're just trying to be like, we're knocking these guys, we're going to try to get home so they can't take a field goal to beat us. But I don't know. I think you just can't make it a chip shot. You can't give Joe Flacco an easy completion and make it easy on him. Like that play call, there are times to be aggressive, and Sweat's been getting home. They only have one starter on the offensive line that they had like 3 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever it was. Everybody's injured. Let your front four do their work. That's been they didn't really, it felt like they didn't really blitz a ton today, and they were still getting home, and Sweat was doing well, and Edwards got through. I know he would have had to have been a blitzer, but they've been generating pressure without selling out the whole game. It's a hell of a spot to put them. I feel like you got to trust your guys a little bit to do their own assignments and not just be like, we have to get a sack here.
Was it 3rd and 15?
3rd and 15, and then that's what really allowed them to take it down to 30 seconds. They would have been kicking a long field goal with over a minute to go, with the Bears having at least 2, probably 3 timeouts.
Yeah, and Britzker's got to make that play at the end there. Flacco had a nice throw to Murray Cooper, but you got to stop that touchdown. I mean, he ran it in after he had like a 15 yards after the catch, and he was right there. So just got beat. And there were a lot of Bears defenders around, but Brisker was the main guy. So
that was Brisker's worst game that he's had in a long time. And I think that I don't want to say earn the right to have a stinker, but he had a little bit of stinker today. That's fine. He's still been pretty fucking awesome all year long, I'd say. I looked at Ryan today. I said, I think he's been pretty bad today, but I still think he's dude-ish. He could
you actually said that about Gordon.
Was it Gordon?
That's who you said that comment to me about in real time, but
we were talking just about so I'm beyond this season, obviously. I hope today was a linchpin for the entire fan base. There won't be a graphic moving forward, I would hope. But they do have a few, like the defense as a whole, like I said, but specifically Brisker, who's been awesome. Gordon, he was bad today. He got beat. I mean, Eddie Jackson's gone, so fuck him. And then on the other side of the ball, you do got one guy. I know I'm the one who's painted Mr. Negative, but I think there's looking forward, there's pieces to really like, and specifically takeaways from today's game to really like moving forward.
I would agree that the roster this year is significantly better than the roster last year. The coaching staff has let this team down. That really was driven home again for me today, where you have multiple 3rd and 4th and shorts, and they get gimmicky, and multiple, and they don't get them. They had the play calling was terrible. They couldn't move the ball. They didn't move the pocket really for Justin at all for the most part again today. Which
he did a great job of calling a game last week, and then he just completely forgets what he did.
Why does he do that? It's either awesome or horrific.
He's like, I don't know if he's overthinking it, because he's like, oh, we're playing a much better defense in the Browns rather than the Lions, so we're going to change this, change that. But it's certainly not a good strategy. But yeah, the offense as a whole, I mean, obviously pick 6 from Edmonds, and then Eddie Jackson takes one back to the 1. If it weren't for that, we could be looking at 3 for the whole game. So offensive efficiency was just not there.
It was abysmal. And even that one where Eddie Jackson returned it to the 1, it took 3 Browns penalties to give them they backed themselves up. They had a couple of stupid play calls, and then they had, they got bailed out by kind of a 50-50 pass interference to reset the downs. It's these guys absolutely fucking stink. And, and it's I don't know when the doom started settling in for you guys, but when Fields did not get, it was, he did not get that 3rd and 1. He was just a little bit short. And then they ran they tried to just run a sweep. I think it was to either Scott or Felix Jones. It was it was a bad spot on that, I thought, by the official. But then it's how do you come back with that play call? And that was borderline field. That might have been one of their best drives. I feel like they at least moved it 30 yards. They're right there at the edge of field goal range. You pick up that one, and it's just but then when you don't get that, you could just kind of start. I think I said to you, sitting next to you, Dave, here we go. That just.
Oh, yeah. We both kind of sensed it at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
You kind of muttered it under your breath. You're they're blowing this game. I'm yeah.
Yeah, that sweep, bad play call, horrible execution.
Yeah.
Brown off the edge went untouched to blow that up. So it was just.
Are you talking about the one where Fields had more wide open?
No.
No.
The one to Tyler Scott.
The one where right, but those are the two back-to-back plays. So he had more open, but like I don't hate him. He got tripped up and got a bad spot.
It was a good tackle, shoestring, shit happens, that's football.
Right. And if he doesn't get that shoestring, Fields might just run that one in. Like that, like he had kind of one guy to beat on the edge.
Might have, yeah.
And he definitely picks up. I thought he picked up that first down anyways. He was like right there.
On that play, he was like a yard short.
They had him a yard and a half short, but I thought it was a terrible spot in real time. I thought that would have been an interesting place to challenge too, even if they're like, okay, like you didn't get it, but instead of being 4th and 1.5, almost 2, now it's 4th and inches. And that changes things. Maybe you do the Justin Fields sneak push, the Philly push.
Or the Cole Kmet. It would have been the Cole Kmet push.
And then they wouldn't have got it. But the point remains, like they find ways to lose, unlike any team they have. We're here for the stream today, and I was right in front of that Falcons-Panthers game. Like the Bears they're better football players on the Bears than a lot of the teams with similar records. And but they just shoot themselves in the foot way too often.
Yeah, I think it's like sorry, go ahead.
You want to know how you're right there? Because the Browns are the team that finds the way to lose perpetually, and the Browns won today.
The Browns have wins with 4 different starting quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, I saw they're going to be one of like 8 teams to ever make the playoffs, and they're all from like the 70s, like the Patriots, and with 4 different starting quarterbacks. They had some graphic, but I don't know. Are you guys done on Fields yet?
I mean, I listen. I forgot what I was going to say before you said something. Yeah, I don't know. It's especially frustrating because you felt that way during the Vikings game and the Lions game. We're like, what are we going to do here to cough these games up? And then like it seems like you make strides. You win 2 in a row, and things were looking great to win 3 straight. Actually, have a winning streak for once, and then you go back to your old ways to that first Lions game and the Broncos. You start coughing it up again. So it's like it just as a team, they don't know how to put it all together, and it's especially discouraging because they did it for a couple weeks and then they just reverted back to old habits, old ways. So,
see, I don't know that they did like that. That the Lions win, that was a clean, well put together win. The Vikings wasn't,
But they still had to drive at the end, win the game.
Yeah, and they find a way to lose those games like 10
most of the time, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and then it's just like everything else around, like the Packers lost today. So it's like, and the Falcons lost today. So if you're the Chicago Bears,
Vikings lost yesterday.
What?
The Vikings lost yesterday.
Vikings lost yesterday. Okay. So if you're the Chicago Bears, you win that game, all of a sudden you're 6-8. You not only are you in the graphic, but like you're tied with Atlanta, Green Bay. You're a game out with 3 games to go against Atlanta, Arizona, and then the Packers with it all. Like it was starting to set up for them. And it's, not that they were aware of the scores or anything like that, but it's just like you could smell like an optimism where things were turning. But this one, man, it's just the offense was so bad. So I guess that's like the natural question now is like back to what Dave was saying.
You guys have to be, right? You have to be. He threw for 150 yards today, and like 50 of them were on that last play to Tyler Scott.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look great. The offense as a whole didn't look great. Obviously, Getsy's a bag of shit too. So then when we were literally waiting for this because, like I said last week, we play 3 top 10 defenses. So I'm sure next week against the Cardinals, I'm sure the offense will look solid.
That's exactly my point. Like, what? So he looked like shit today. He had okay. So 2 picks. The 2 picks he were credited with shouldn't have been picks. 2 Hail Marys, whatever. Like throw those away. It was like 4 passes that should have been picked. Those are the ones that I am angry with, and that won't be talked about enough, I don't think.
But
Like,
I only
okay,
remember one like that.
no,
on
there was 4.
on the reverse side, Dave, then I don't. Are you going to bring up Robert
Good
Tonyan?
Tunyon, absolutely, absolutely. That was a good throw. That I don't think it would have been a touchdown per se, maybe, but that was a good throw that was dropped. Absolutely,
That's a scoring drive. I believe they would have put them in scoring position.
No, absolutely.
Even if they didn't
Absolutely.
gain another yard, they're in scoring position.
Absolutely, they're in field goal range there. But I said this last week. I'm like, he looked good today. He had a pretty good statistical output game, like nothing earth shattering. It was a good, solid game. He moved the ball plenty. I'm like, we're facing a real defense again next week. It's going to be bad. And people are going to be back out. And then they're playing shit like Ed just said. And then they're going to be back. And it's like, what needs to happen for people to be out on Justin Fields as the Chicago Bears starting quarterback moving forward?
Yeah, but like the other side of that equation is the 2 kids is May and Williams. And it's like, am I in on them? Just like,
I that's where I just hope that, I mean, you're getting one of them for cheap, for very cheap. I mean, Fields is going to be a $21 million cap hit next year.
No, he's not.
What is it?
He's not going to be 21 million. That's he's in his 4th year next year.
Yeah.
I keep thinking the 5th. I'm an idiot. However, like it's like I don't need to see anymore. I don't.
But it's not.
Like, I get tagged you guys get tagged in too. Like, oh, are you going to talk about Tunyon's drop? Are you going to talk about those 4 picks that were dropped? Not you two specifically. It's like the people chirping at me. Totally. I don't need to see anymore. I don't need to see anymore personally.
But to Ryan's point, it's like it's not necessarily like how much you like love Fields either. It's how much like when you assess the whole team, is he the best option we could go with moving forward when it comes to the whole 53-man roster, if that makes sense, you know?
No, I get it. I understand that. Like I think you can whittle it down to a yes or no question though at this point.
I have like a dream scenario where they hire Harbaugh, they trade that for 3 number ones, like we said on Thursday, and then Harbaugh goes and hires the quarterback coach from his brother's staff, so he knows the Lamar kind of offense, and you have a system that fits your quarterback, and you surround him, maybe get one more offensive lineman, one more weapon, and then you have a game plan that works. That's catered towards your guys. I feel like we've still never seen that. And Getsy is just not like Getsy. I'm out on Getsy and Eberflus for sure. Like I'm out on them. If I wish I loved Caleb Williams the way that some people do, I just don't. And because that would make it a very easy decision. If there was Andrew Luck at the top of this draft, like we say all the time, then yeah, I'm done with Fields. I just don't think that Caleb Williams and Drake May are slam dunks to be better than Fields. And it's like, to Ed's point, if I can build out a great 53-man and get the right coaching staff in, then I feel a lot better. Because even as bad as things have been this year, there are so many games, Detroit, Denver today, where if they weren't just totally incompetent, they're looking like they're a much better spot in the standings and as an organization going forward. But it's like the coaching staff handicaps them. So that makes the Justin Fields evaluation question borderline impossible.
I don't think that it does. I think that you can look at Justin Fields and see that like he is what he is. He's
an average quarterback. I think he's an average quarterback. Yeah. And like average is like that's better than a lot of places. Like that's what I'm trying to say, Dave. Like I think he's average.
Okay. And then in the last few weeks, I've been trying to say that like average, you're not like, we know they're not going to like nail everything around him. So you need him to be the guy, and he's not the guy. They've like only a handful of teams in the league consistently like drill it every year until this year. And in the last couple of years, the Patriots, obviously like a small handful of teams do that and have the ability to do that. The Bears don't. I Justin Fields to me, like I can't believe that people are still like trying to rationalize the Bears ever winning anything of substance with him. Like, if you wanted him to be like an average quarterback that like gets you to the playoff, like fine, like he could probably do that with everything around him, right? That's not what I think of when I think of a successful franchise quarterback, personally. And I don't know that Drake May or Caleb Williams is it. I don't know that they're not it though. I do know that about Justin Fields. I don't know why people shit on me for that take.
I think that's a fine take. I can't necessarily be like, no, you're absolutely wrong for that line of thinking. I'm just not totally like in lockstep with you on that.
I understand the flip side of it too, though. But it's like you have to keep shooting. You have to wash your hands of this mistake and start over again. You have to.
I do think there's something to be said for growth and stability, and like if he's an average quarterback, can he be slightly above average? And like
we said this.
No, but hold on. So like you look at Jared Goff, you look at like there's a lot of teams that win a lot of games without having Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. Like you can be one of those teams. I'm tired of being the fucking, our t-shirt meme, the Browns jersey meme. Like my preference is to stick with a guy. And rather than just like, oh, well, let's just try another one. I'm
pretty sure that's everybody's preference. However, you can't. It's been 40 games. 40 games he started. 40. I don't know if that's the exact number. It might be 30, but it's like give or take 40-ish games. That is more than enough sample size to see that he is not it. He is not it. He is not it. He's not it. I mean, he had 150 passing, whatever it was. And prior to that, it was like 120 with 2 minutes left. I mean, you can't win in the NFL with that. And it happens way too regular. I know he's got a lousy coaching staff. I know the offensive line has warts. But I don't think you can win anything ever with Justin Fields as your number one starting quarterback. Make him Taysom Hill next year. Fine. Awesome.
All right. We could end on that note. What a loss. And I think, you don't want to win anymore, right?
No, you cannot win one. I mean, they're going to, though. They're probably going to take two of them, right? But it would be bad for them to win the next 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even mentioned the Mooney play like that, the Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it was in his breadbasket.
It's like you see the still frame.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible not to catch that.
Yeah. It was tough. Tough day for Mooney. Also whiffed on a block too.
Yep.
He's
probably gone next year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. Next week. Well, we're obviously live Tuesday and Thursday this week, but next couple of weeks are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so we won't have a show. So enjoy your Bears misery post game and with your family, and just know we're 3 weeks away from hopefully the end of the Eberflus era.
I think that has to be nailed in now. With the way that this game ended, that whole staff has to go. I was, even if they had won out, I was advocating for firing him. Now it's just like you absolutely have to. The coaching staff has cost his team too many games.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I obviously agree with you. I want to make that clear, but how the defense has played, there's always the possibility that this ownership group and front office comes back with, look at the improvements on that defense. Let's find us an offensive guy. Yep. Round and round we go.
I want to know what your dads and uncles and everything think about the Bears on Christmas Eve. So send videos, ask them what they think, send videos in, tag me in them. I'd like to see that. Just everybody mad together on Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll make that our Christmas episode for y'all.
Yeah.
I'll specifically edit all those videos together.
I will find a way to stitch those videos together, and we'll just get all the dads angry talking about the Bears. That'll be
I love that idea, actually. I'm not even kidding. I love that idea because you know that all the dads out there, and the dads are right, by the way. The dads are all right.
Dads are right.
You know that the dads out there hate Fields. They hate Eberflus. They want to listen to the dads. The dads are typically right. Even if they're meathead and they don't know the analytics and all that, their intuition is typically correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you guys on Tuesday.